Oh, good afternoon, everyone. John Donnelly from Your Holistic Academy, and my guest today is Grace Gleeson. How are you doing today, Grace?
Hi, John. How are you? Thank you very much for the opportunity.
It's delighted to have you on our show today, Grace. And we're going to be talking about your business, which is Life of Light Holistic. Life of
Mm-hmm.
Light Holistic, which is a fabulous name. You're
Thank you.
interested in all things light and love, Grace, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So how did you choose the name Life of Light, Grace?
My treatment room is actually based in my conservatory. So I have 5 windows in my treatment room, so there's an awful lot of light going on in there. And I suppose also for me is that everything is all about for life for me. So where there's life, there's always hope, and where there's hope, there's always a bit of life. And I suppose that's the reason why I chose that particular name, was mainly down to my treatment room more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact I have so much natural light more than anything else. It's not artificial light. There's an awful lot of natural light, and yeah, that's the main reason
And
why I chose
it's
the
a
name.
beautiful name, and you're living in a beautiful part of the country. You're out in nature, Grace, yeah?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
I'm out based, look at it's in the countryside. It's the one thing clients said to me straight off. They were just like, what a view, which I have, look at, I'm very fortunate. We live out in the countryside. We have a very elevated site. So we see the countryside an awful lot around, but it's gorgeous. And I love just going for the walks in nature, just to
Yeah.
switch off more than anything else in the evening
Brilliant,
times,
brilliant. And is there a bit of farming in the background, is there?
There is. As my own family would say to me, it's like, Grace, if you're not going on enough going on between your holistic work, your bookkeeping work, and now you've thrown into the mix the farming beside of it. But yeah, no, I love it. I love the nature. I love just working with the animals more than anything else as well, you know. I suppose as my husband said to me one of these days, he said they're actually going to start physically talking to you because the conversations that go on down there in the mornings, you know. So
Yeah. Well, of course, there's loads of therapies now that, around animals and horses and dogs and all sorts of stuff, isn't there? There's loads of holistic therapies that, So tell us a little bit about your background. Was in bookkeeping and accountancy, Chris, was it?
I suppose I have, off the top of my head, roughly about 10, 11 years in the financial world. And it was when I was in the financial world, I suppose I dipped my toe initially into holistic work. In 2012, I had carpal tunnel in my right hand, and I had to get that operated on. And I was told at that stage that I was traveling down my left hand pretty lively. So I was like, no, I said, I'm not going down the road now. I said, again, I'm getting another operation done. So I had a friend who introduced me to Reiki, and I didn't know too much, to be honest, about Reiki and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she gave me about 5 or 6 treatments, and I started to notice that things were slowing down. The pains and the aches I did have, which were in the left hand, were starting to ease off. There wasn't a stress. So I was like, okay, all right, there's something in this. So she trained me into that, and then in 2016, then I left the financial world in the accountancy side, gave up work in order to prolong my career and further education with Holistic School of Excellence in Maru. So that's where I trained in reflexology, massage, Indian head, and angel card readings there as well. So yeah, and even though I suppose I've gone over the financial world in the accountancy side, my other business is my bookkeeping business as well, but it's a different energy, it's a different vibe to what I was in before. I suppose for me, I try and keep things as easy and as free flowing as I possibly can for the client, and for them to understand their information, their accounting information, and where the figures are coming from, and how they can progress the business. That is my, I suppose, motto with my bookkeeping business side of it, you know.
Yeah. So you actually offer a bookkeeping and accountancy service to other holistic practitioners, Chris, yeah?
Yeah. I suppose 90% of my clients are holistic therapists, and that was thanks to, I suppose, Mary Mullally, actually, of Massage Matters, that actually got me into that more than anything else. And Mary is like my little personal mentor. But yeah, no, a lot of my clients are holistic therapists, and I suppose there is that, I suppose, block there that people have in relation to the financial part of it, that they find it so difficult to understand the information, and because some people don't, not all therapists have the business element of it. I suppose I'm very fortunate in the fact I have the business element and the holistic business, and I suppose the marketing more than anything else, but I suppose it's trying to break down that, I suppose, that wall that people have in relation to the financial part of it. That has to be difficult. For me, it doesn't have to be difficult. I just try and make it as easy as I possibly can for all clients,
Yeah, so that's a really essential service really for holistic, and you understand the holistic practitioner because you're one yourself. Yeah, so it's a great combination then. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your practice then. I mean, obviously it's difficult now with the lockdown, Grace.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit more difficult now at the moment, but I suppose what I try to do at the moment is I try to do as much work as I possibly can online. So I've brought my Reiki through distant healing online, and I suppose my angel card readings as well. There's an awful lot of interest in that at the moment because people are just looking for, I suppose, a bit of intuition more than anything else, and see where things are going and see where they're going to take their lives. And yeah, it has been a big change, but it's a welcome change more than anything else, I suppose it's getting me out there and it's connecting me more to more people that I can still connect to.
And you can reach more people then as well, because and you don't have to sit in traffic jams and all sorts of stuff.
That's it, like whereas before, I suppose location was an issue, whereas now I suppose I can now do an awful lot of my stuff online, so location isn't an issue anymore, That's worldwide. I can do treatment in wherever it is, that wherever they are in the world, and just not confined to my locality here in Limerick, so.
Yeah. And what about the idea that we're working on, Grace, of connecting with other therapists and sort of working together? How do you feel about that whole idea?
I love the concept of it, to be honest, John, simply because I suppose when you're working for yourself and you're working as your own self, you've only got yourself to deal with, and it can sometimes be a bit daunting for both for me and for other therapists, trying to get somebody to understand your business and your concerns that you're possibly going through, because more than likely you're not the only person that's going through that particular maybe time in their period of time in the business or whatever it is. Because I suppose I've seen it, I suppose, in a greater sense with the bookkeeping world, is that therapists come to me and they just say to me, they said it's such a great ease that actually somebody actually understands where they're actually coming from, where their business is coming from more than anything else. And it's a great, I suppose, connection and networking more than anything else. And it's not about just trying to drum up business, it's actually connecting with one another as well, and supporting one another and recommending our services to one another as well. I think that's the reason why this network is fantastic, the source of that,
And then you got a sort of a diversity of thinking as well around, you get to know about things like Chinese medicine or acupuncture or Tai Chi, or you get to know about different disciplines then more by connecting with the other members then,
No, that's exciting too, that there is, I suppose, learning more about from others as well, so the treatments they offer and what they can help in as well. And that's all great, that part of it as well, and just learning from one another more than anything else as well,
Yeah, sure. And you're connected with Mary. Mary is also one of our members, Mary Mullally. So you're connected into Mary's group as well, Grace, yeah?
Yeah, I am indeed. I suppose, look, it was Mary, I suppose, that kind of promoted me more than anything else to go after the bookkeeping side of it. She knew I was doing bookkeeping, but I suppose I didn't see there was, I suppose at the time, I didn't see there was too much of a market for the bookkeeping for the therapist side, because I just assumed that everybody had their own bookkeeping side of it and everybody understood, I suppose, more than anything else. But it was when I actually tapped into it and actually realized that, people weren't too comfortable about the financial part of it. And this was, look at a skill set I had. So I said, I said, why not tap into that a bit more and ease that stress and strain more than anything off the therapist. So.
And loads of therapists, I mean, like Grace, have got like multiple disciplines, like, and they've spent maybe 10 years, maybe more sometimes, just building up their own knowledge of energy healing and all the different disciplines, and they've got multiple sort of, but then sometimes maybe they neglect the business aspects and focus more on just the, so it's great to be able to support them in other business areas then,
Absolutely, John. And I suppose I suppose my motto also with clients is that I try and take the pain threshold, as I say to clients, out of it so that they understand when they give the information over to me, I'll break it down in such a way that they can easily understand it. And it's not, I suppose, the accounting jargon more than anything else. I suppose it's a better word. I suppose that was, one of the main reasons why I came out of the financial world was that clients came in, they were given this accounting information. I know the accounting information has to be given to clients, but can be broken down to a certain way that everybody can understand it more than anything else. I suppose that's where I suppose I look after my clients in that way, that they understand it and they're not going away thinking of overwhelming and all of that.
So I actually started my life journey started in accountancy as well, Grace, way back a long time ago. But there was no such thing as holistic accountancy in my time. So I don't think they've actually invented a discipline in accountancy, holistic accountancy yet. So maybe you could be the first one.
We'll take it one step at a time, Dejan.
And tell us about your corporate career. Then was it stress related? That sort of was that sort of what
I suppose I was in the financial world and banking world first of all, and then I went from there then into the accountancy lineup. But a lot of it was down to just stress and strain more than anything else. I suppose when I take a look back and step back and see that how some corporates operate, it is it's a stress zone more than anything else. And I suppose it's trying to change the mentality more than anything else, the corporates, that their employees are under pressure, they're under stress, and that maybe some of our services that we actually offer, they could actually take on some of those services. And it'd be amazing of what morale boosts more than anything else the employees, that could actually have the effect on them, as well as looking after their health and wellness as well, you know.
And even productivity, Grace. I mean, productivity in the working day, it's got to do how you show up. Do you show up, if you're showing up stressed, you're not exactly doing it. Or if you show up mindfulness is one of your disciplines as well, Grace.
Yeah, I do. I'm doing some parts of that as well. And I suppose I can see there is a huge market there. I suppose when we go back, hopefully in January, when things maybe change with the environment we're currently in, and maybe organizations go back into their workplaces and stuff like that, mindfulness will be a big thing, I think, with an awful lot with organizations, because I suppose with people working from home at the moment, they've that bit more time, they've made their lunch break, they're doing a 10 or 15-minute mindfulness or meditation, and they're actually now realizing, you know what, it's actually working, and they're more productive more than anything else. And I think that'll be a big thing going forward, is that'll have to be incorporated into more businesses and organizations, you know.
Yeah, sure. We were just talking earlier, Grace, about the idea of when you get to work first, you should go to your meditation room first and work, and meditation before you start work. So do you think is there a chance that Irish businesses will get to that point very soon, do you think?
I think there's a big step to take first of all, but I'd say eventually I can see an awful lot of American, I suppose, companies they really and truly promote that really, really well. The Irish companies probably are still that little bit, they're a step or two back from that yet. But I'd imagine going forward that this is something that they're going to have to start doing, because employees will start asking for it. That they'll actually eventually see, do you know what? They were actually more productive when they were working from home because they had more time for their meditations during their lunch hour or whatever it is. And you know what, they'll eventually say, you know, we'll give it a go, and she'll look at what have we got to lose. I say that's going to be the mentality businesses are going to have going forward, you know.
A lot of it's, I mean, a lot of the coaching nowadays is around sort of emotional well-being and mindfulness, and a lot of the life coaches and about energy wellness, if you like, or and holistic coaching is more sort of and so it's changing the mindsets, really, Grace, isn't it? And one of your things you say, people say to me, "What if I fail?" And my response is, "What if you dance and succeed?" That's one of your sayings,
Yeah, absolutely. And it is very much a change in mindset, I suppose. When I look at it now, like the friends that have developed through the financial world and all that, and I meet them not as often probably now as what I should be, But they're like, wow, they said you've taken such a career diversity, but they've now seen that the stress I was under when I was working in the workplaces, that's all gone, that's in the past.
Yeah.
And it is just all about the mindset more than anything else. And okay.
Sorry, excuse me.
Sorry. You're grand. But it is all about just the mindset more than anything else. It's amazing once you get into their mindset and get them actually thinking outside the box, they actually start realizing that, you know what, there's actually a lot more to what I actually offer more than anything else, you know. I think it's going to be huge when corporates and businesses go back into after COVID. Excuse me. That's going to be huge for them because they have to boost employee morale and all that as well. And employees are going to be looking for it. So
the change in mindset for you probably came when you started the Reiki business.
Absolutely. Like it was a big thing for me, and I suppose I didn't think, I suppose, when I initially went for the Reiki treatment what this was actually going to do for me. But definitely that was the starting point for me. It was just a change in mindset. I started noticing, you know what, this actually works for me. It gets me into a place of, I suppose, calmness more than anything else. And I started noticing, you know what, I said, this is what I want. This is what I want more of more than anything else.
Yeah.
You know?
And just that feeling of health and wellness is obviously more important to you than anything else, really. And
absolutely.
Again, every area of your life, then it changes every area of your life, then. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like it's not only wellness, the body is feeling better, everything is feeling better, I'm feeling better with myself, but it also impacts on relationships I'm having with people now as well, family relationships, friends relationships, all that. Like it is all to do with relationships, and when you're feeling better about yourself and your health and wellness is of optimum level, that's going to affect on other people as well, you know. So wellness is a big thing.
Yeah. So your ambition then, Grace, obviously to help other people to transform their mindset, transform their energy, transform their lives then,
Yeah. 100%. And like, I suppose I kind of always give all my clients, I suppose, a bit of an insight as to where I've actually come from. And people look at me, they're like, right, you went from an accountancy firm into holistic practice. That's some jump. And it's when I actually break it down for the clients and actually tell them from the space I was actually into where I am now, they can actually see, do you know what, there's actually something in what she's actually doing and what she's actually trying to promote more than anything else. That I'm a walking, I suppose, advertisement for it, you know.
Yeah. And it was a bit of a lonely journey starting off because people probably thought you're a bit like, you know, why are you doing this? Why are you throwing away your career? Like,
absolutely. Like even my own family, like look at my husband was 100% behind me in fairness to him. And he was just like, look at, he says, you've been talking about this for so many years. He says, just go and do it. He says, what's the worst that can happen? He says, if it doesn't work out, he says, you still have your qualifications from the business world. And he says, you can still go back to that if you need to. But I suppose when I now look at it, when I do meet friends and they now see where I've come from, where my businesses are going, they're like, do you know what? They said, we were actually totally wrong about you. You know, you knew exactly what you were doing, even though I suppose they look back at it now, I was like, okay, right, I don't know where I'm going, where this journey is going to end up in, but you know what, I'm just going to keep on this track because I knew it was for me. You know, so yeah, no, it is interesting when I do meet friends like that who I haven't seen for a while, and they're just like, wow, just the transformation more than anything else, you know.
So it's working for you, Grace, and you have a passion for helping other people then,
Absolutely. It's all this was everyone's health and wellness is, I suppose, my priority more than anything else. And just because I'm health and wellness is my optimum, there's no reason why anybody else can't have the same kind of lifestyle, you know, and to be living their life rather than just existing more than anything else. And look at with stress and strain and all that has a huge effect on that, you know, that people are just only existing.
I think if more people sort of adopted that sort of line, your health is your wealth. If people sort of, and I think there's maybe a realization, more of a realization now that how important that is, really, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, Yeah.
So tell us, what sort of clients would you be sort of looking to connect with, Grace, in this online world now?
I suppose corporate world is a big area for me. And I suppose also got to do with business people, so businessmen and businesswomen, because I think that's a huge, I suppose, area where there's an awful lot of stress been held in, which, as you just said there earlier on, which impacts on productivity then as well. So if clients are, if staff are stressed, that is going to affect their productivity more than anything else, you know. And it's a huge area that I can see, I suppose, with both friends and family that are in the corporate world more than anything else. They are stressed and strained, and they don't know how to, I suppose, step out of it and how to address that stress and strain they're currently going through. So I suppose that is a big area that I want to, I suppose, embark on more than anything else, because it's a huge area that is of interest to me, because I suppose I've been in that sector. I know what they're going through more than anything else.
Sure,
and I'd just like to help them more than anything else, you know.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. So how can people reach you, Grace? And obviously you've got your own website, so that's Life of Light Holistic.
So I just only set that up only about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago with Mini Media, Sinead Carroll. I suppose it has been on the pipeline for a long time for me. But I suppose with COVID hitting, that just has to be escalated more than anything else for me, that people had to try and connect with me more than anything else. So the main focus, I suppose, for me is my website, lifelightholistic.com. And LinkedIn is another big one for me as well, because I'm looking after, I suppose, more the business and the corporate world. That is a big area for me, and that as well. And I suppose through Facebook and Instagram, they're my main traffic, I suppose, for people come to convert with me as well, you know.
Great stuff. And I was on your website earlier, and it's all pink, Grace. It's lovely. It's just like just a whole, like, wow, this is beautiful, lovely website.
Well, in fairness, then I gave her the content, and in fairness to Sinead Mini Media, she just knew by me from what it was, that it was just a very fresh, I suppose, a free flowing energy more than anything else. It's very easy to navigate, because she says to me, how difficult do you want this website? I said, I don't want this difficult. I said, I want this as easy as possible. I said, for people to navigate, not only for them, but I said for me to update as well, I said, as easy as possible. I suppose that's my other motto in life, is life does have to be easy. It doesn't need to be complicated, you know.
Yeah, that's a great message to be. It's a really great message for people, Chris. Life can be easy, and so it's a matter of self-care. Is probably the thing that people need to really focus on now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, and I suppose not beating ourselves up more than anything else, about spending time on ourselves. Because, like, at the end of the day, if we're not looking after ourselves, we can't be looking after others. If we're not, as I said to clients, if our cup isn't halfway full, we can't be giving that to others if we haven't that full up ourselves, you know. So self-care is absolutely huge. I suppose in the current environment, I suppose that's of optimum at the moment, you know, and it's time for us to maybe self-develop ourselves a bit more, and maybe making the conscious decision to actually do more self-care on ourselves, so that when we are back with clients, that we're ready to rock and roll, you know.
Fantastic, Chris. You're a great shining example there to people as to what is possible if you take that leap of faith, if you like, which is, I guess, what you had to do to build your own holistic business. It's
absolutely. You know, so.
Grace, I'm absolutely thrilled, and obviously we're delighted that we get the opportunity now to work with you on the Your Holistic Academy project, and really looking forward to getting to know all of our other members, and how we can work with you and how we can help you. So absolutely delighted to have the conversation today, Grace. Thank you so much. We'll share your information in the chat, and if any of our listeners have any questions for Grace, maybe you can put them into the chat, and we can get back to you on that. Yeah.
Great. Thanks a million, John, for the opportunity.
It's
and
been
thanks
great
to everyone.
to chat to you, Grace, and looking forward
All right.
to talking soon. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.